Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Elizabeth Toby, also known as Dahanese, and this is Greg Lobbs, also known as Overload UT.
Hello everybody.
We are part of the Tryon Worlds team, and today we are going to be showing you something new from Rift, specifically from our upcoming Update 2.4. We are going to be working with Legit, which is one of our top rating groups, and we are going to be taking you through a little bit of a tour of Infinity Gate. Greg, before we hop on in, these guys are in there right now getting ready to get started. We're going to be playing on our own test server, spectating, using our GM client and some of our dev tools. But do you want to give a little bit of a background and then hop on in and get started with Breaker X1?
Yeah, so if we can get the game up on the screen so you guys can see it here. That we are inside the Infinity Gate, raid right now, and we can see the gate up there. And we got our guild all ready to go here. I'm using my GM client, so I have my cheats, which allows me, whoops, wrong direction, allows me to like warp all around, and I can like get a nice aerial view of this. Is a way you get to watch the raid in a way you don't normally get to see. This is a really difficult raid that they're still actually they're still finishing the design and everything on it. So we're going to see these guys try to do it, although it is very difficult. So I may use my GM. May use my GM cheats to just down some of these bosses so that we can see the next ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and activate this. I'm going to activate the first orb for them so that we can watch the whole thing open. So I'm doing that right now, and we're going to see this big huge makeshift laser here that goes. And this is for activating we can see a guy walking up to it to go turn it on, and it's going to open up the Infinity Gate for the first time here, and we're going to see it in just a couple seconds.
So the backstory of the Infinity Gate is, oh dear God, oh my God.
We should double check that our power is plugged in over there.
Yeah, can you make sure our power is plugged in on that laptop? So if this goes blank, I'm going to feel really embarrassed, but. So the Infinity Gate is this big gate that was opened up, and there's some good things that are going to come out of having this gate open, but there's also some unintended consequences. Specifically, that monsters and the things that are really going to screw with you are coming through the gate from all the different kinds of planes. So you're going to see creatures come through from all different kinds of planes. And this first stage is Breaker X1. And I think that
our laptop
Greg's
just
computer just turned off, which is super bad.
We have this really terrible laptop with us. All
so
right. I'm going to go look at the laptop.
And I'm going to go tell you more about Infinity Raid. This is pretty embarrassing. I'm going to go, first off, you're going to hear me say our laptop died to the raid. And then I'm going to talk with you guys about some of what Infinity Gate is. So sometimes when you have laptops, I guess you guys know, when you have laptops that are gaming machines, they drain power faster than anything. And we are running Beast of a Game right now on it. So not really sure how it died. I think that the plug may not have been fully in. So telling you more about what Infinity Gate is. As I said, it's this big gate. It's been a big part of the lore. And when it opens up, all these monsters are going to be coming through. And there are three phases to this raid. And the first one that we're going to take you through, and I'll just give you a bit of an overview so we can kind of talk through what the guild is doing when we get back into it, is Breaker X1. And he's got a lot of, nukes and really AoE attacks that the guild is really going to have to split up between the two. Greg's like, I'm working on it, keep going. And so there are 20 people in this raid, and so one of the big things that you're going to see them doing is having to split into two parts and have 10 people taking some of the attack and, absorbing the damage essentially while the others taunt, and then they'll have to swap. And then you'll see, if you noticed in the beginning, there were 3 orbs. That's for the 3 different creatures that are going to come through and do battle with you. And the second 2 are these twin brothers. One is part of the plane of death, and one is the part of the plane of life. And this is a really, really cool part that I'm really hoping we can get to, because they have very different mechanics, because they have something called sibling rivalry. So the raid has to split up into 2 different portions, and there's going to be different effects and different strategies. They have to stay together on one of those planes and stay very spaced out on the other plane. And they have to swap back and forth, because if they don't swap back and forth, they'll get too much damage and they'll die. And then the third boss, which we're probably just going to be teasing you today, and that was going to be the case regardless, is Volan, who, if you guys have played Storm Legion before, you know Volan. He is a giant colossi of a beast. And there's a little bit about that fight that you will recognize from the Volan fight of Storm Legion, but also a couple new mechanics about him. He's in a very different area, but because he's so large, you do have to use jump pads, and you get to jump on his back. And so you've got three very, very different... I can hear the sound. I don't know whether you guys can hear the game, but you can definitely tell it's coming back.
I got disconnected from VPN, so I'm reconnecting.
And so there's a lot you have to do with him, and there's several phases of that fight. And I mean, I know that Legit was saying that they really wanted to get to the second phase of Volan. And this is also a time that I want to pitch our own live stream. We stream at least every Friday on twitch.tv/TryOnWorlds. So if you haven't gone, open it up in a new tab right now, since, you know, we're just kind of vamping as we get the game back up and running. And follow us, because we are going to be showing off more of Infinity Gate and more of 2.4 and, you know, far into the future, 3.0, our big upcoming piece that's coming, you know, much further in the future. So yeah, please do follow us there, because we will just be scratching the surface.
We're getting back in.
We are getting back into the game. We can even almost show you the loading screen.
We can go ahead and bring up the game here. I'm just loading in.
I'm going to tell the guys in the sound booth to bring up the game for us, hopefully.
All right, we're going to go to.
And I'm going to also tell Legit that we're back in, and they should start fighting again. So another thing to note about this raid and about these guys who are doing this raid.
It might be in the middle of it. Oh, I forgot to go invisible first.
We've been tweaking this all through Friday. It is by no means done. This is still on PTS, our server, and so they've been practicing for a week because they knew they were going to be doing this. Like, even longer than a week, I think. But that doesn't mean that that they're perfect by any means. They've really only had, with the current state of tweaking, a day to practice, and. And I remember one of the things that they said is that we're going to have to clear some of the trash for them because it is not tuned. But if you see them go down, do not make fun of them, because they've had 24 hours to try and master this raid, and we keep changing it on them. So I don't know, Greg, are you ready to hit that orb again?
So we can see, everyone can see right here, the White Lady just let me know that they did clear all the trash. My screen is tiny here. She said that, right? We did the trash. So they cleaned the trash while our laptop was sadly rebooting. And so we're back up, and then we can keep going here. So let's go ahead, and they're gonna go ahead and start Breaker X1. He's actually right there, and oh wait, let me go invisible before they start this. So I have my my GM cheats here, so I can walk right up to this dude. Here they go. They are starting him.
So there's another cool part of Breaker X1 that you will get to see in a bit that we'll tell you about. That's really cool about him. As I said, you can see there, I think that's called Fission Burst. That's that area of attack that they've got to split their raid up into two different parts. One's absorbing that damage while the other one is taunting him. Again, if you see some of this, we're trying to keep the settings in medium so you can see all that beautiful visual effect, but running our GM client and going invisible and pulling ourselves up, that's why you're seeing a little bit of the jankiness.
Our GM client runs really poorly because the only people that use it is us, and it's usually not to show things off. So
oh, wow.
It's running at a low frame rate. So we can see. So they got past the first phase there, and I believe they did. Yes, they did. And so we've seen these 5 portals open up, and they immediately went into them, which is what they should be doing. Although there's one portal left. Oh, there they go. They just finished it. Did you tell them what the portals are?
Yeah. So these portals they're 5 different portals, and only 5 people can go in. So it's very important in this raid to pick the right people to go in, and that is actually them teleporting into the core of Breaker X1. And he's also called Onyx. And they go into the core and they see these 3 holographic images of his AI. And so there are 3 different times that they're going to have to go in and do battle in the core of him, while the rest of the raid goes outside and has to clear all of the stuff around him and make sure they don't die. And that happens 3 times in this fight, which really adds another dynamic, because you have to choose who are those 5 people. It's not just whoever gets to those portals first. It's definitely...
And now they're going to come back because the portals just opened up. And in light of, unfortunately, our crashing computer, I'm going to go ahead and speed up this encounter so that we can take a look at some of the next bosses that are in this raid. So when we see the guy come back.
And also, someone in chat, I am reading on that handy-dandy iPad, someone asked, when will we be seeing this new content? We haven't announced a date yet, but we will be very soon. This content is not far off. As you can see, we're still balancing and tweaking, but this isn't, months and months off. So please do follow us on social media of choice, or if you're on our forums or our website, that's a great place to find out. We'll be announcing that soon. And also talking a little bit more about what's coming in 2.4. This is only one portion. There's also, some really cool features. There are also dungeons. So there's some other really neat stuff coming. So are you running through Breaker so you can get to?
I may have just thrown him for a loop because I just did about half of the boss's damage using some of my GM powers here, which would have accelerated the fight considerably. I'm going to go ahead and drop down into my invisible dude here and use my amazing, where is it? My AOE power to kaboom, kaboom. So we're killing the boss here so that we can move on to the next guy. You guys got to see the main chunk of that part there.
So these next two that you're going to see is who I was talking about. It's Morden and Victus. They are they're going to be on the plane of life and the plane of death. Their story and their lore is a bit shrouded in mystery. They speak very briefly about their mother. They clearly are rivals, and they're doing battle not only with you but with each other. And the thing that I like about this that you're going to see as, this swirling happens is that they don't come into the center ground platform. They're also going to be hovering above the plane, which adds another element to the battle. And you got to make sure you don't fall off, because that'll be a bad thing. And so Greg is summoning that right now to get into the new part of the fight.
Except they're saying that I bugged it, and they are right. So the problem with using your GM cheats to kill the guy faster than you're supposed to be able to is sometimes that will break it and make it not work. Let's see. Take the game off of the screen. I'll try to fix it real quick, and then we'll get this next guy active.
Well, there's actually a couple questions that people are asking, so this is a good time to put that in. We've seen the models a lot. Are they final? A lot of these models are going to be, there's some weird sock puppets over there, which is pretty awesome. These models are fairly near final. One of the things that we're trying to work on, not only with these, is, fit this into the lore of the game that already exists. I'd have to, talk more to you guys about specifically, just wanting to see new enemies. But we also want to be able to bring in really new dynamics to the fight. So as I was saying, with these two sibling rivalry brothers, they're on two different planes. And, on the one hand, with the plane of death, the longer you stand there, your health saps more and more for that group of 10 that are there. And on the plane of life, the longer you stand there, the less you can heal, which is just as detrimental as being killed, honestly. And so those two groups, the raid has to switch in between the platforms. And there's specific times when they need to switch to really make sure that they are doing the most damage and taking the least amount of damage. And then there is this great sibling rivalry really damage that they are doing to each other, but if you don't interrupt that spell, you can pretty much wipe the whole raid. It's not a guarantee that you'll wipe the raid. So we're back up on the screen, right?
So I did screw it up. So the next boss is not, yeah. Let's hear. Oh no, here we go. The trash is here. All right, this is what we need to do. I need to run around and
clear that trash for
run extra fast and clear the trash. Put it on my second bar.
So I don't think we are going to get to that second phase of Volan, which I apologize for you guys, and we are going to make that up to you by making sure we run this raid fully on the Try on Worlds channel. I'm going to even say that probably this upcoming Friday, we can rerun this. But we do want to show you these two brothers. So Greg's going to run through, make sure you clear it. As you can see, it's not just, as usual with raids, it's not just the bosses that you're going to be hitting. You're also going to have to deal with everything that's on the ground.
Let's see, did I get them all? I did. So there we go. And now you can see the platforms up there.
You're gonna float on up, show them off.
Yeah. So let's go on up while they are fighting them. That's those pads there are how they teleport up originally, and they end up, as you can see, the death and life.
And there are those two brothers, and I do want to show those off because this is a bit of a doozy of a fight.
So they've split the raid into two groups here. to fight the two sides. But what's going to happen is they're going to get these growing stacks of debuff on each side, forcing them to have to switch side. Their entire raid has to coordinate and switch sides at the right time. Not too early, not too late, because if you go too early, the switching portal is going to do a bunch of damage to you. The debuff makes it so that that does less.
So we do have to wrap up a bit here, but I do want to show off a couple of these mechanics. As you can see, you know, if you want to swap on over to just fly on over to the plane of death too, you can see that these two groups of people are trying in completely different ways to deal with it. You know, some of them are spread out on one platform and they're very close together on the other. And Plane of Life and Plane of Death have very different different spells, so these enemies are entirely different. So every time you switch between them, you have to change your strategy. And also, I want to point out before we go, this guy has an amazing bone saw as his weapon,
let me get down
which
there.
it's really nasty looking. I think that's one of my favorite things about him.
All right. So with that, we are, I personally apologize to you for the laptop screwing up. There was a cable that had gotten jostled loose, and that was what made it turn off. But and this laptop, like, it runs out of batteries in like 10 seconds if it's not plugged in. So like Elizabeth said, we will make this up to our Rift fans on our Try on Worlds channel. We will go ahead and show off Infinity Gate again this Friday. We'll even have a better machine, so it'll even look nicer.
But I hope that we've given you enough about some of the mechanics so you guys can start giving us some questions so we can get a little bit more in depth on that Friday. We'll also bring some of those devs in that were talking to us and prepping us for this stream. So please do, you know, write us, ping us, ask us questions, and we'll be ready for you guys on Friday.
All right, and so stay tuned next. I believe they're doing a hoodie giveaway for, they're doing one of their limited edition white hoodie giveaways. At least that's what the schedule said. I hope it's still correct. I'm not embarrassing them by saying this and that's not true. But at any rate, keep watching and enjoy the rest of PAX.
Thanks.